Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is another Clan Wars battle featuring PYRO on the Tier 8 Fifth Campaign, Steel Corrida Campaign, and this one is a little bit different. This one's got the old mate Scal driving around in his T-32, the heavy tank, the big American heavy tank, which is popular on Tier 8 Clan Wars, especially where there's any kind of a ridge line. And you can see early on, as the PYRO guys drive through their cap, they're knocking every building that they possibly can down before crashing into a little wall. Not a bad bit of driving there, Scal. But anyway, this go, without giving too much away, don't blink because you'll miss everything. So the PYRO lads have knocked over pretty much all of the buildings, or most of the buildings, on their cap. And now Scal loads the proper ammunition for Clan Wars. And they've gone with a pretty heavy lineup, which is a little bit unusual. All the other replays I've done, or most of the other replays I've done, PYRO have opted for mainly light tanks, maybe one artillery, maybe one or two heavy tanks or TDs, but generally 8 out of the 10 tanks in the battle have been T-54 lightweights or RU-251s, and the occasional other Tier 8 light tank. But on Airfield, you can see again PYRO spreading their field reasonably wide, 3 IS-3s over in the normal spot where heavy tanks might go in a random battle. A couple of American heavy tanks on this little peninsula, along with the 3 T-54 lightweights. Lineup features 2 of the new Patriot tanks, 3 IS-3s and 2 T-32s, and 4 of the enemy tanks have been spotted already. 2 T-54 lightweights and 2 heavies. Tanks moving in to surround these light tanks here. Looks to me like Scal's opting for the 90mm gun on the T-32, just going by the amount of alpha damage it's getting. Lucky enough to bounce a shot from the enemy T-32 and just dodge the enemy arty. It's always a good feeling when the artillery swings and misses. And you can see these tanks, Patriot tanks, starting to head towards the enemy cap, and these light tanks looks like they might be going to back him up. IS-3s looks like they're in a little bit of trouble in the middle with their 5 enemy heavy tanks and two light tanks. Scal sees the side of the T-32 and puts a shot into the side of the turret, and another one. Of course, the quicker reload on the smaller gun of the T-32. Only doing 240 hit points of damage a shot, but the reload is, the damage per minute is something that a lot of people go for on the American Tier 8 heavy tank. Looking for another shot on that IS-3 to almost take him out of the game. Eats a shot from artillery for nearly 800 hit points of damage, and then puts another shell into the enemy light tank. Looks like the PYRO guys are going for the cap on this occasion. Obviously they've got lots and lots of games on in this campaign, and they're keen to get the battles over and done with as quick as possible. PYRO had a hell of a lot of games in this campaign. Puts another shot into the T-54 lightweight, taking him out of the game. And with the score at 8-2, we'll call that a win for the PYRO lads. Make it 9-2 as somebody else died right at the end. And a pretty comprehensive win there. It might have been a fast and furious battle, but it definitely wasn't lacking excitement as we have a look at the post-game battle results. A good spread of damage by the PYRO lads. Plenty of players doing over 1,000 or even over 2,000 hit points of damage. And Scal pretty happy with his performance, topping the damage counter at 2667. And the other heavy tank, the Patriot, doing it 1,900 just about. And a few of the others doing well over 1,000 hit points of damage, which is pretty not a bad result at all for the PYRO lads against a clan that's traditionally pretty good, QT. They well and truly cleaned that one up. And now, without giving too much away, there's going to be another replay as usual. There's 2 replays on these videos. Tier 8 Clan Wars featuring PYRO. This one is also on Airfield. And this time, looks like the PYRO guys have gone for a little bit of a lighter lineup. Just 4 heavy tanks, all Americans. 3 of the new T-26E5. 2 of them have got the P next to them because they come with the camouflage, the Patriot tanks. 1 T-32, 1 Scorpion G, and artillery, and 4 of the popular Russian light tanks, the T-54 lightweight. Again, Pyro knocking as many buildings over as they can on their way to the battle. And again, it looks like Pyro are getting out there to try and make sure that they're going to outvision the enemy yet again. 1 Scorpion G camping back at base with a couple of light tanks ahead, providing vision for him. Some of the heavies doing a little bit of a camp back here with the artillery, a little bit unusual from the Pyro lads. And they've got 1 T-32 heavy going into the usual middle brawling spot where the heavy tanks would fight it out on a random battle. And without giving too much away, this game is not going to be as quick as the last one. AKA a relatively newcomer to the Clan Wars map, both in the campaigns and on the normal Clan Wars map. Not exactly sure where they're all from, but they certainly put up a decent fight in this Clan Wars battle. One thing I like about the Pyro battles, and every game's different, so it doesn't really matter how many videos I put up on all their strategies, they've always got another strategy up their sleeve. Very popular player on the Asian server is Skims AU. Pretty good chance he'll be calling this one. It's no secret, he's probably regarded as one of, if not the best caller on the server. I'm sure someone will disagree with that, but from what I've heard, he's a very knowledgeable man and comes up with some awesome strategies. Pyro playing quite defensive here. They might be. I don't think it really tells. Doesn't really tell us on that screen if they own this land. Maybe they do own this land. Pyro owned a hell of a lot of land at tier 6, 8, and 10 during that recent campaign, and so there's a good chance that they're defending this land, and the onus may be on the enemy to attack rather than Pyro make the first move. As I said earlier, they've gone for a little bit of an unusual lineup, or unusual by their standards. Most of their games they seem to prefer going all lights, or at least 8 out of the 10 tier 8 tanks being light tanks. And you also saw that, I don't know if that's Skims' idea, but I know when Skims was in Nebraska, they often used to go the 10 T-54 lightweights in their strategies on pretty much any map. Unlucky not to land a shot on that T-54 lightweight, but he takes one. Old Skell, and he's probably decided I've had enough of this. I'm not staying up there for too long. Always tempted to shoot that aeroplane that you can see in the middle of the screen. Haven't hit it yet. Again, the Pyro lads just biding their time here. Skell's looking for a shot on that T-54 lightweight that was last spotted in the usual heavy area on Airfield. Not much getting lit up. They have lit 5 enemy tanks up, half the enemy side. They've spotted an IS-3, a Pershing, and 3 lightweights. And they're just waiting. It's a little bit like a game of chicken, just waiting for the other side to make the first move. Skell confident he wasn't spotted there. That was just a bit of a blind shot by the enemy. Nothing wrong with doing that at all. Nothing wrong with blind shotting the usual bushes that people might be poking from or hiding in. Skell searching for a little bit of evidence of where the enemy tanks might be. T-54 lightweight looks like it's been taken out by artillery. It's taken out by an unknown tank anyway. Continue to wait for the enemy to make a move. Sends a blind shot down the C line. Doesn't get spotted on that occasion. But that T-54 lightweight on the enemy side, he's pretty safe there. Nobody's really got a shot on him. Apart from maybe artillery. Artillery might have a shot on him, but just heard the arty fire. Not sure if it was the PYRO arty or the other one. I think it was the PYRO one. Again, Skell not spotted there, but obviously that T-54 lightweight on the enemy side, obviously his sixth sense went off, and so he thought that's a likely spot where Skell might be spotting him from, so he's fired a shot in that general direction. Just moving around, trying to get spots on these enemy tanks. Only half of them have been spotted at this stage, so they're continuing with their defensive strategy. Waiting for someone, both sides obviously waiting for the other side to make the first move or make a mistake, and both sides ready to pounce on that opportunity. Of course, this campaign's already over and PYRO comprehensively won on the early time zone parts of the map, and they did that through playing well, playing heaps and heaps of games. I know a few people in the clan, and they were saying they often had quite a number of battles on at the same time, and they managed to field all battles. I'm not sure. I don't think they forfeited many, but a very well-deserved effort. Again, that T-54 lightweight takes a blind shot towards where he thinks Skell might be. And you can see the T-54 lightweight of Strap got a pretty big hit there. Maybe it was an arty shell, but it's taking him down to 568 hit points. As the halfway mark ticks over, both teams playing very, very conservatively here. We know from where the tanks were spotted, there's a good chance that the enemy have a good presence on this island, and that's why this T-54 lightweight here is sort of sitting back. If these tanks poke, then the Scorpion G in the background will be able to take 500 odd hit points of health out of those enemy tanks should they poke over that little peninsula near the water. T-54 lightweight of Strap back in the corner because he knows he can't afford to take any more hits. One hit from a big gun will be enough to take him out of the game. And Skell just keeping on moving backwards and forwards on this ridge, trying to get some vision on the enemy team. But he's not going to move too far forward because you can see behind him most of the guns are back there near artillery. 3 heavy tanks, the 3 Patriot tanks, the T-26 E5s, which I haven't bought myself, but I'm very, very tempted to, as it looks like it's not only a good tank, but even good enough for clan wars. Just over 6 minutes left in this game now. It's just a demonstration of absolute patience by the PYRO lads. Just waiting out these AKA guys. And it looks like our AKA making a move. IS-3's been spotted, as has the T-54 lightweight. That's the same T-54 lightweight that was blind shotting towards Skell. Skell puts a shot into him, obviously gets spotted at the same time, and then he gets the hell out of there because all the guns are around here. These guns can't help him until he pulls them back around. But he puts a couple of shots into those T-54 lightweights, takes them both down to 400 odd hit points, and then takes him down to 200 before Strap snipes one of them out. That's the original guy who was getting lights on Skell earlier, and then they take out another T-54 lightweight. So that's 3 T-54 lightweights taken out of the enemy side for the loss of only 1 on PYRO's side. And now it looks like the heavies are pushing here. This is where these heavies here are going to move into the game because they don't want this T-32 to be isolated for too long. And this T-32's been caught napping. He hasn't realised that there's going to be big Russian T54 lightweight coming up on him. Skell takes a shot, but he knows he's going to be able to get 2 shots in for every 1 shot that T32 does. And so he takes him down to 85 hit points. He does take another shot from the T32, but he's easily going to beat him. And the Scorpion G takes him out of the game in the end. With the score at 4-2, this Pershing's coming back to try and get rid of this pesky T54 lightweight. So Skell does the right thing and moves back to allow other players to get shots into him. Those 2 T54 lightweights behind him. Srap and his old mate Team Efficiency, Bolognese. And now it's time. You can see the enemy have pushed their heavies into these heavies, and so Skell's going to move into like a flanking position, if you like, in order to get some cheap side shots onto these big, slow, clumsy heavy tanks. He needs to conserve his health though. He's only on 122 hit points with the score at 7-2. And now they're going to let these heavies brawl with these IS-3s. Well, Skell gets out of the way. Fires a shot clutch, which doesn't quite connect, but he's already done nearly 2,500 hit points of damage. And now, just like in a random, it's time to find that artillery. So Srap and Skell both going to look like Srap's going to come around to the C1 kind of area, which is not an unusual place for artillery to be. And if he's not seen there, Skell can take a hard left and go down to the southwestern corner. But there he is. He's not sure which way he's looking. Is he looking towards Skell? No, he's turning back. And so Skell will get another shot in. Well, Party takes the kill. And in the end, a comfortable win, 10-2 from the Pyro lads on Airfield against AKA. And yet again, as you look at the post-game battle results, a very good spread of damage by all the Pyro lads. Only losing 2 tanks in that battle, but even though it was a long wait, once that engagement happened at the end of the match, it all went Pyros well. They rotated their hit points well. They shared the damage well. The TD was pretty handy at all with that 500 hit points per shot, and the Patriots didn't do too badly, as well as obviously the light tanks. But a couple of very different but convincing wins on Airfield, featuring Pyro, the overall winners on the early time zones of the recent Tier 5 Steel Corrida campaign. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the replay, Skell. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. These 2 very different games on Airfield. The Tier 8 Clan Wars, Pyro versus QT and AKA. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.